Going to bring in our next guest from Nothnagle Realtors, and I know he's from Nothnagle Realtors. One, because he's been on the show today before, Gary Britton.
Yep.
And number two, because he brought some nifty pens.
I know, is that cool?
And I'm a fan of a good ballpoint pen.
I love
A good
pens.
ballpoint pen
These are good.
stays in your pocket forever.
It does. It's good. The good quality ones.
I was trying to remember, when the last time I was over here?
I was here, wasn't I? Because I've been here
You
about
were
a year
here,
now.
Right.
I think it's a couple, 3 months.
Maybe about 3 months ago,
Maybe.
right? Because I was thinking it was a cold day last time I was here.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful
That's
day
just a
today.
joke.
Yeah.
Sorry.
June.
What did you think of it? And you've been standing in the room here. You met young Haley here, did you meet?
Yeah.
You think she should?
Fantastic programs that she has. We're always interested in them. And a lot of homeowners ask us questions.
Absolutely. But you also heard Alex's story about how Rochester, New York is the number one city for mortgages that are under control, people who are not underwater.
We're conservative, and that was largely the way people think around here.
Yes, it's
is
consistent
that they
for
just
years.
didn't do a lot of speculation, didn't get a lot of high, lost mortgages.
Nope.
The banks here are pretty tight, so
it didn't surprise you.
it didn't surprise me.
But I saw you write some notes down when she
Well, I think
mentioned
that what people don't realize is that we were the third best place in America to live. Now, that's a shock. Now, we get a lot of calls from across country inquiring about moving to Rochester. Number one, the schools are fantastic.
Yeah.
And people around the country know this because
Suburban.
it's in the news all the time.
It's in the news all the time.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, it's like the Buffalo Bills. All of a sudden, they're on the front page.
Absolutely.
Right.
So
That's because of
Rochester
me.
has taken the front page also.
Number two on the list, I understand, is a good cruise ship, and the number one place to live is Disney World. So, I mean, that's the
That's pretty good.
that's the competition.
So we're doing well. No, and it even looks like in this article, comparatively, home prices only went up about 0.25% compared to the other cities with mortgages that, some of them are over 4% going up.
Well, and Gary, is that good or bad?
Well, it's good and bad. I mean, I tell people that you're really buying to live in a house. You're not buying a house as an investment or a speculation. I mean, you raise families and memories and have parties, and that's what a house is. But that's why Rochester homes don't appreciate that much. But the good thing is they don't depreciate that much.
Yeah,
either.
that's what I mean. Like there's if you take a look at this, I'll have Jeff put it up on the website, but if you take a look at the percentages, I mean, we really have been the most stable as far as,
And very affordable.
Yeah.
I mean, very affordable. I get people coming from, I sit in a subdivision and of new homes, and I get people coming from each coast, and they can't believe the price of this house. Their garage costs as much as my 3,000 square foot house.
Unreal, huh?
Yeah, it's unreal.
The difference.
They think it's a deal.
Yeah, they think it's a deal until they see the taxes, right?
Until they see the tax.
And they
But
go, what
let's-
happened?
Let's put it in perspective, because I always try to draw comparisons when I go back to Boston, my hometown. A house that you paid $200,000 for here,
Right.
what would you guess that would go for in
The Boston
the Boston area? Yeah.
500.
So you can almost
Yeah, you can
double
almost
it.
double
More
it.
than double it in this
Right,
case.
right.
500,000.
And what you'll find in Boston is that the taxes might be half. If we knocked our taxes in half here, those house prices would double.
Aha.
So it's the taxes that keep our house prices stable.
Oh, I see.
I mean, it's pretty simple. In California, it's 1% of the sale price.
Right.
So now you'll have a large sale price.
Now there's my cousin lived out there in Southern California, the LA, right outside of Bel Air. His house was not a very expensive house. It's a house you'd pay about $250,000 for. They sold it for just over $1 million at the peak of the 1.1 million, I think it was, at the peak in 07,
Right.
06. Incredible. I mean, we're talking about just a regular style colonial, maybe 2,700, 2,600 square feet. Nothing massive. But, I mean, that's 4 or 5 times as much money, 4 times as much.
My sister lived in San Jose, and across the street from her was just a garage, a 2-car garage on a half-acre lot. And someone bought that garage and lot for $400,000
Wow.
and planned to build a $2 million house.
Well,
I mean, you don't think of those
incredible.
things in Rochester.
When Haley was in here, she was talking about living in San Francisco. What were you paying for? Did you own or did you rent out there?
Actually, it was an internship program, so I didn't have to pay.
Oh, man.
What do you guess? It was an apartment,
Technicality.
probably. What do you guess it was? What were apartment rates like out there?
Probably $1,200 for a 1-bedroom.
Wow. See, now that I would
that's a lot.
get sick to my stomach.
It's the same thing like in New York City on Long Island. Friends of ours sold their house on Long Island and tripled their square footage in their home and bought a whole bunch of acres in Pennsylvania because they had a job transfer. And the mother-in-law like could not believe it. She's like, this house has walk-in closets. They were living in a shoebox before, no yard, like 860 square feet. And they sold it for several $100,000 and tripled.
Some shocking, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like, wow.
Did anyone see the story in the news this week about the woman who was living at a Marriott in Virginia? She lived there for 10 years after her husband passed away. She moved into the Marriott for a while.
Oh.
She was living in room 202 for 10 years.
I read that.
And she was paying the equivalent of, what was it, about $1,400 a month.
Yep.
But if you think about it, all the housekeeping is taken care of.
Yep.
Right.
Washing, everything is done.
Linen, cleaning. That's great.
So we can all move into the
I
490
heard.
motel.
$490
Live there for a
motel.
while.
I heard
You
there
first.
It could be a
Go
little
first.
cheaper.
There was actually a story similar to that. A guy living in New York City in a hotel that had been converted into apartments. But this guy had been living in this building since it was a hotel, and he was paying like a ridiculously cheap rent-controlled kind of rate. And the landlord ended up taking him to court because he wanted him to pay more what the other tenants were paying. And I guess there's some law where if you live in a certain place for a certain period of time, then you're locked into some kind of rental arrangement. Or
The Boston area, the Boston area has that.
there's
That's
an
the
exemption
rent
on
is
it.
too damn high guy. He was
yeah.
in
That's
that.
right.
yes,
He was
yeah.
Well, you
living
see,
in
that
a
was the trick was that's how you got everybody out. You bought the building and you raised the rent 400%, and then you lose all your occupants. Then you can remodel it.
Remodel,
and do your
right.
thing. So they put some rent controls in there to
I
protect
see.
those people.
Gary Britton is our guest for the next few minutes on Property Source Radio from Nothnagle Realtors. What's new in your life? What's new in the biz?
Well, I don't know. Last time I was here, I'm not sure if I moved my office, but we moved from our little house up on Monroe Avenue to a huge place. It used to be the Cherry House.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's on Monroe Avenue, 2349 Monroe. So now it's 9,300 square feet.
Wow.
I tell you, I'm exhausted going around the place. I put a little pedometer on myself the other day. I had 3 miles clocked.
That's
just
huge.
going in and out of the office.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, so it's great. And we've...
Wait a minute, Gary. I just thought of something. You guys, Nothnagle, you guys brought in Holly Creek, didn't you?
Oh, we brought in Holly Creek.
Really? How is she to look? She's got, I mean, she looks great, doesn't she?
Well,
Oh my goodness.
she's a
I'm
very
getting one
attractive
step
woman.
Hey, Steve, we're getting one step closer to having her on the show. We got her broker
Here, I
manager
brought
here.
pictures.
Oh, you don't have to. I go on the internet all the time.
Oh my
I
God.
go on the internet to see Holly.
Well,
She's a great
also
person.
She's a great
Great
person and
person.
one
Yeah.
of the tops in her craft. For
Yep,
sure.
number one actually in Western New York.
That's
so,
a great-
It's great to have her on board. And now, just last week, we brought number 2 on board, which is Mark Seawick and Associates.
So he would be ranked number
Wow.
2 in
He
the
would
area.
be ranked number 2, and
For
then
now.
and then we have the number 1 in the Finger Lakes area, which is Ann Caprini team.
Really?
So she's in there too. So we've been pretty fortunate to be able to get some very powerful professional teams that have come into the Nothnagle Brighton office.
That's awesome.
What do you think that does for the competition? Does it discourage them, or does it make them say, "Well, we gotta, what are we gonna
I
do
hope
about
it
this?"
discourages them. No.
Yeah, it may be an obvious answer,
That's
but
right. It's somebody called me a pirate ship last week because I tend to pull up next to somebody else's office and raid it and bring them over.
It's not unlike
But
the-
realtors move.
Yeah.
I've moved 6 times in my 30-year career, and they move because they see different opportunities. And I have to admit that Nothnagle, I've been doing this 30 years, and I told them I was going to retire my jersey here. They do have the best technology, and in this business, it's all about getting customers, or what we call leads, and everything is tracked. So we know where everybody called from, where everybody looked at, and that provides, and that's why these 2 big powerhouses have come over, is because of lead generating technology.
it's not unlike the New York Yankees signing the top free agents.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Keeping the people they have and looking for opportunities with people who can make them stronger.
Yep. And then I have another 40 professionals. Our average years in the business with agents is 15. So I have an experienced team.
That's
over
awesome.
there.
Gary, hold on. We have to take a quick break here. We are Property Source Radio. We're here till 10 o'clock. Stay with us here at Property Source Radio on ESPN, Sports Radio 950 ESPN.